I spent way too much time comparing the Onn Streaming box to Firesticks and Chromecast TVs. But now that there's 3 models, there's a legitimate question to be asked. Which one really gives you the most value? And after testing the Onn Pro box, this is a serious question, especially with the increased price point. So today we're gonna go through a complete comprehensive review of everything you need to know about these, the differences, what makes one better than the other, and the final question of which one has the best value. And yes, for all of you in the comments, I am gonna keep saying Onn box, just to annoy you. So first, we need to talk about performance. Starting with the CPU and the GPU in the Onn Stick and 4K box. And both these include a quad-core chip and the same GPU, where the Onn Pro box does come with an updated CPU. However, it's outdated when you look at the rest of the market. So it's solid, but it's still not anything new. So we have 2 storage sizes to choose from. The 2 discount devices include 8 GB of storage, where when you go with the Pro model, you get a huge upgrade, actually 4 times as much at 32 GB. And the fact that these don't include USB ports mean you really can't use external storage unless you get an adapter. So that just gives the overall advantage to the Onn Pro box. You also see a similar pattern in RAM, where you get 1.5 with the stick, you get 2 with the Onn 4K, and then you get 3 with the Onn Pro box. The Onn Stick only offers you 1080p, where both boxes will offer you up to 4K ultra resolution. The box does offer a full-size Ethernet port and also Wi-Fi 6 for the Pro model. Now, despite the major increases that we see with the Onn Pro box, this didn't necessarily lead to performance. You can see that the CPU and GPU tests that were run by AFTV News on the Onn 4K Pro box hasn't seen a major increase compared to either the box or the stick from the previous models. Now, from personal use though, I will say the Onn Pro box does run smoother. No doubt about it, it's a more powerful device. But one thing that really sets these devices apart are the characteristics between them. So one thing they really improved on with the brand new model is the design. The first 2 budget models, to say they were made as cheap as possible is a bit of an understatement. It honestly feels like you can break them with one hand just by putting pressure on it. They really have no extra ports or features at all on the device, just an HDMI and then a power plug-in. But they are budget models, so that is completely understandable. However, that is not the case with the new model. It has this really nice fabric top. It's made out of a super tough, high-quality plastic, and even has some extra ports such as an Ethernet and a USB. They also added this really cool lost remote function, which is a really nice bonus. The way I look at it is these 2 models are meant to be hidden. They're not necessarily meant to stick out. Where you can have this one in front of your TV and it would look pretty decent. It even has a few built-in LED lights here. Now, one area I expected the Pro box to really stand out in is the operating system. A lot of the time, new models will get the opportunity to run a newer version of Android. Now, these are Google TV devices, but it's basically an Android-based system. So because it was released a little bit earlier than when Android TV 14 was really announced, it's stuck with Android 12. And the unfortunate part about these devices is they typically don't update their operating system. Like, they'll do regular updates, but they won't update the version. So it looks like the Pro model is going to be stuck on Android TV 12, just like these 2. Which I don't want to get it twisted, that's not a bad thing. Android 12 is perfectly fine. But it just means you don't get the advantage on the more expensive model of an updated operating system. Unless, of course, they do decide to push it. Now, I think price is where I can really start to talk about my opinions a little bit more. These devices are priced very close, but very far away at the same time. You have the stick, which comes in at $14.99. You have the 4K streaming box that comes in at $19.99. And then you have a 2.5 price increase at $50 for the Pro box. This is where things I think get easy between the 4K box and the streaming stick. Some of you aren't gonna like this, but this thing is fucking useless, okay? There is no reason to ever purchase this over the 4K streaming box. Unless you really need the built-in HDMI port, which I think is more of a hinder. It gives one more thing that can go wrong. It's $5 cheaper for half a gigabyte less of RAM and an overall slower device. And I think most people that are going shopping for a streaming device can afford the extra $5 to upgrade. Now, I think the tougher question is which one of these boxes really gives you more value? And that becomes a little bit harder to answer. You have one that costs almost 2.5 times more, and you have one that's not very well made, but still does its job pretty damn well. And in this case, I've really just come to the conclusion that this cheaper 4K box is just the way better value. I have been using the Onn Pro box for a while, and performance-wise, it's very hard to tell a difference between the two. Now, this one does run a little bit smoother, and you do get that extended storage. However, I don't know if that extended storage makes it 2.5 times more valuable than just the normal box. And frankly, if you just don't care about the look of the device and you just want to be able to throw it in and start streaming, for 20 bucks regular price, and I think it goes on sale for 15 all the time, you really can't beat that kind of value. And this is coming from someone that spent a lot of time shitting on this device. But I will admit, despite 2 of them breaking on me early on, it does stand up over time. Now, if you're feeling a little bougie and you feel like you need the remote finder, you need the added USB port, maybe you need the Ethernet port because you can't get a good Wi-Fi connection, then this is really the only de facto option when we're talking about this brand of device. I think one thing that Onn could do in the future is maybe come out with like a $30 price point, maybe make this one a little bit better just for $10 more. Add an Ethernet port, add a USB, and just make it a budget device, but just a little bit less budget, I think. Okay, so now you purchased one of these, but you want to learn more about it, either how to add a mouse pointer to your remote, how to install third-party apps, how to access developers options so you can do even more with your device. Well, it's actually not that hard, but I've made it even easier by creating integrated, comprehensive learning modules on my website. Just head to the menu category, find learning guides. This will bring you to categories where you can learn everything from setting up Downloader on it to setting up your device for the first time, and even some advanced tips. And I'm creating new modules every single week to try to give you guys more options on how to use your device. And if you have parents that you bought this for, this is a great way for them to walk step by step on how to install this completely free on my website. Oops. Now, if you guys want to request a module, go ahead and go to my forum where you'll be able to ask me directly to create a module or a learning guide on something you want to know about your device. So let me know down below in the comments if you guys agree with me. Am I way off on this, or did I hit the nail on the head? Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.